until they start to pick it up, and then you can kind of lose them to that versus the chapter books.
Yeah, so actually I'll talk, I have a slide about graphic novels, but we can jump ahead, that's okay. I love graphic novels, to be honest. I think I call many teachers, we call them sort of the great equalizer. Because you can, but there's a big difference though between a graphic novel and just a comic book. And the main difference is going to be the complexity of the story and the complexity of the language. So if you're reading just kind of a silly story that isn't really, it's just kind of a typical plot, the words that are on the page aren't really that difficult, I categorize that more as a comic book. Whereas a graphic novel, it really is a novel. They're usually quite long, they have stories that are much more complex, they have evolving characters, they have all the things that we look for in chapter books. And there's some really great ones that actually use quite advanced vocabulary. And the great thing about graphic novels is then the kids have these other things that they can fall back on when they don't actually know what that word means. So, I mean, even, I've got a list that I'll share with you guys. There's an author who's taken a lot of the classics, so the Odyssey, for example, and turned it into a graphic novel. And so that, you know, most times you wouldn't read the Odyssey until at least grade 10, and that's still going to be for quite an advanced student, but you can read it much younger because it's much more accessible. So if you're choosing graphic novels where the content and the language is really strong, I'm all for it. I think they're great.